and we are here and live, and I'm going to expect people filter in a few moments here, but let's
Yeah.
just kick it off right away, get into it. I want to know what's one thing you bought either today or recently. What's something interesting that you bought? And it can be anything. I don't even care. Somebody go.
Joe,
Jump.
Joe, why don't you kick it off, man?
So, I mean, I didn't buy any stocks actually today. I bought some crypto. I bought some mana and some sand, which is metaverse crypto. I mean, those dropped about 25% over the last week itself, and it came down to a really good resistance level. So I dabbled back into that, and I dollar cost average actually up in those because I got in those relatively early. But no stocks today.
No stocks. What is one of those? I remember reading about buying digital real estate. Isn't that in Sandbox?
Well, both of them, but the more popular one is Sandbox Sand, and Snoop Dogg actually owns real estate in Sandbox.
That's
And this
right.
happened,
That's what it
this
was.
happened a few months ago. Someone spent, I think, like $4.2 million on land to be Snoop Dogg's neighbor. So
That's
it's
what I read.
Yeah, and you have like McDonald's and Chipotle and Wendy's and Panera. They're getting into metaverse as well, where you can start buying fast food products. It's just super super weird, and I don't like understand it fully. But
Me neither.
I don't want to be left behind. Let's say that. So those are the two most popular ones.
All right, Harold. I guess I'll go. Shamir ended up buying 3 shares of AT&T at the opening bell, so he bested me. I bought 1 share today, but I sold a cash secured put on Intel, a $47 cash secured put for $60. So I was explaining this to my wife, and I over explained it that I got to keep $60 for those of you that don't know, and it expires on Thursday. I did a really short options contract because ever since I did the live stream with Jeremy from Dividend Stockpile, I've just really been digging the weeklies because there's, for me, a lot less anxiety to not have to sit through the weekend on any of the options contracts. So, hey, for that one, I would be happy owning 100 shares of Intel at $47. So
Yeah.
I just had to have that $4,700 in the account, and yeah, go ahead, jump.
Russ,
Shoot.
question on that. So if you were to get assigned, do you have to hold those shares for any certain period of time before you can sell them, or can you turn around and just flip them and sell them right away?
No, I believe it after it settles. So I think everything takes 2 days to
Yeah.
settle.
Oh, okay.
So actually, I haven't tried to do like the next day after they've been assigned, but I'm gonna watch that because if the market's bad tomorrow, there's a good chance I'm gonna get assigned these shares of Intel, and then I will start selling a covered call on them.
Yeah.
The only thing that sucks is that that's not tax advantage, and I'm doing this one in the taxable account. So
Yeah.
there he is, Jeremy. Speak of his ears must be ringing. We were just talking about you, Jeremy, and me selling the weekly options contracts and really, really enjoying that. So what'd you buy, Ryne? Anything good? What you doing?
I haven't picked up anything yet this week. The week is still early, but I have some money going into my brokerage account tomorrow, so I'll probably swoop up some shares of something tomorrow, and I probably will end up selling out of my Warner Brothers Discovery shares too. I've got about $550 there that I can put towards some other dividend stocks. So that's something I'm chewing on, and I don't know exactly where I'm going to put it, but
are you tempted to keep even? I think I'm still digesting it, and I was thinking about keeping 1 share just as a token, but then I don't know. And I know me, 2 weeks from now, 2 months, I'll be like, this is stupid, and I'll just sell it. So
yeah, no, I don't know. I don't think I'd keep any of it. It totally could go up in price, right? I don't have any doubts that it's going to be a pretty good streaming company that could compete with the likes of Netflix or Hulu or whatever other streaming company, because it's got definitely some great media. And I'm a big HBO guy. Love my Game of Thrones. Love my Entourage. Oh man,
Love it.
Entourage. Oh yeah. But no, it just doesn't fit my portfolio and my goals for that. So I'm probably going to get out of it and put it towards something else.
Yeah, nice. That was my thoughts too. I don't know what Joe thinks about the whole streaming thing, but from what I see, it's just really highly competitive, takes a lot of capital to spend on new content.
Yeah.
And especially with WBD, for those of you watching, they are basically keeping $43 billion of AT&T's debt. So they're behind the 8 ball, I think. And that's kind of why I soured on them.
Yeah. So Russ, are you feeling pretty
Yeah.
good? Well, Russ and Joe, are you guys feeling pretty good about Joe? Are you an AT&T shareholder actually?
I used to own a ton of AT&T.
Okay. I remember you saying that.
Yeah, like about $250,000, which is about 4,000 quarterly dividends I got from them.
Jeez, man.
I sold out of that. I sold out of that back in March of 2020 when the whole stock market collapsed, because AT&T for the first couple of days actually held up relatively nicely compared to the rest of the market. So I sold out of that to capitalize on everything else that got beat up at the time. And I haven't got back into it just because it's been so stagnant and downward trend since then as well. So yeah, I did like their quarterly. I mean, I think I was like averaging about an 8% dividend with them throughout all of my shares. So for 8%, I like that. And right now I think it's a decent dividend as well. But I haven't got back into it. I'll say that.
Yeah,
But
it's going to be about 6% yield now.
Is it fair to say you're more of a crypto guy these days? Are you kind of split 50-50? What's kind of the allocation there?
So I only have about 25% crypto of my net worth in crypto.
Oh, okay.
And I have about I haven't done it for a couple months yet, but I'd say it's probably about 20% dividends, and the rest is in mostly growth stocks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
25%, baby. That's I don't think I could stomach that. I think we're at maybe about 2%. And sometimes I'm like, God, if this, I would not be surprised if it just went away tomorrow. If I woke up and they're like, hey, all the crypto's gone, I'd
Don't
be
say
like,
that, man.
I don't think it'll happen, but I wouldn't be surprised. That's all.
If Kathy Wood is right and her projections is $180,000 per Ethereum by 2030 and $1 million for Bitcoin by 2030, if she is right, guys, you're never going to hear from me again. I'm going to be long gone, living on a little island that no one knows about. So that's what I'm playing for. And even if she's 50% right of her goal, I'll be stoked about that. So I'm kind of putting my 25% a lot to put into crypto, right? So I'm trying to go all out essentially for that. So
yeah, man, your stomach must be made of steel.
Well, most of my crypto I got in like 5 years ago,
Okay.
So most of them, like my ADA. Are you familiar with ADA at all, Cardano, or no? No. Okay. So right now,
I have it staked in the Daedalus wallet.
Okay.
I don't know if you do that at all or
no. And I got in that like at 6 cents, and it got up to $3, but it's right back down to the 90 cents now. So I'm still killing it in that. Ethereum or Bitcoin, my average coin is a little over $3,000 for the coins I have. So I'm doing really good with that. But
good for you, man.
Yeah, it's like you said, like it's so speculative, but I like my odds right now with my dollar cost average, I'd say.
Yeah, man, you've got a very nice margin of safety right now.
Yeah, that's definitely key.
And I've been hurt because you guys know it. Crypto's fallen 40% or so since its highs of just a few months ago. So
yeah, and you know what too, man? We're seeing some pretty crazy stuff with stocks. Like we're seeing some big swings right now. AT&T is a good example, actually. And I know today is kind of a rare case because of the spinoff. And Russ, let me know how you feel about this, man. But it stung a little bit seeing it, and we knew it was coming, but it still stung a little bit seeing it drop like 20% in a day.
Yeah, it didn't feel good, but like you said, we were prepared. We knew it was going to happen, and I at least knew that we're getting that in Warner Brothers Discovery exactly what it dropped. Now, obviously, Mr. Market is going to decide where the two of them go, but at the opening bell, anything that AT&T dropped, we got in Warner Brothers Discovery.
Yeah.
Which, yeah, man, I don't know.
20% is like an average day in the crypto world.
Yeah. So what I was going to say before we went live about the AT&T and Warner Brothers was, so we were talking about basically the change in price there and the share price of Warner Brothers. So from AT&T today, I dropped $450, but my Warner Brother Discovery position is worth nearly $600. So got a little difference there of 150, positive 150. So that's pretty good, I guess.
Yeah.
So you mentioned you might sell the Warner Brothers aspect of it. Would you throw that back into AT&T to compensate for that, or not? What you're thinking right now?
No, man, I have too much AT&T. Not
Okay.
too much, but I have enough that I don't want to buy anymore.
Okay.
I don't know exactly what I'll reinvest into. I have my eye on actually one potential addition to my portfolio, which I'm going to keep under wraps for now, but I could use those funds to start a new position in that, or I could just reinvest into some other things I've been buying recently, like Snap-on or Starbucks, or maybe some more Intel.
Okay.
Yeah, same here. I'm pretty heavy in AT&T, and I just started positions really recently in Lowe's, Advanced Auto Parts, and Snap-on. So I'm going to work for a little bit and try and build those up. And of course, it's just the damnedest thing. It always happens. When I started that position in Advanced Auto Parts, like right around 205, 206. And then a week later, it's at almost 230. It just never fails that the dang things I'm like, just stay down for a little bit or go, just go a little bit lower.
Yeah.
But
I'm stoked to see you in Snap-on, man.
You brought it to our attention, and it got my attention. And I looked into it and, did my own due diligence, and it's just, it's a strong company.
Heck yeah.
Plus it's something I understand. I know tools, like I work with tools every day, and it's something that, hey, it kind of, in a way, I like to equate it to the gold rush. I mean, you're out there in California, the company or people that did well were the ones, that old cliche, sell the picks and the shovels to the gold miners, because
right.
That's more of a predictable business than trying to hit it big and find some, gold vein out there.
Shamir, you sly dog. I'm not getting back into Campbell's soup. Not for another probably 40 years at least.
Yeah, that's definitely an old man stock, right? I got my 10 shares in the retirement account, and I'm not adding to it. And I'm just going to let it sit forever.
I think I sold out of Campbell's soup to buy Snap-on, actually, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, and again, Snap-on just has that such great growth, and just way better than Campbell's soup. But hey, I drink V8, so I should help keep them in business for a little while.
So what about you guys? What do you guys have your eye on? Anything new? Any new additions?
Yeah, and anybody out there too, let us know. Just throw it on there. I'll pop your comment on the screen while we're talking.
Heck yeah.
What do you got, Joe? Anything new? What are you looking at?
So, I mean, NVIDIA's starting to get more interesting for me again today. I think it dropped 6%. So I'm definitely keeping my eye out on that one.
Yeah, NVIDIA is interesting. For me, Intel. I'm all about Intel right now. And I have a feeling that Micron, Intel, NVIDIA, anything that's in that space, I think a lot of people are expecting that recession to hit, a lot of investors. And I think the market is really starting to bake that in, where we're going to see demand potentially drop for a lot of the items that all their chips go into and the things that they produce. So I wouldn't be surprised to see just all the chip makers fall a little bit more. But this is where I'm so comfortable, and I love having that long-term mindset, because I think that in 3, 4, 5 years and beyond, they're all going to be okay. They're going to recover. I was reading John Malden. I don't know if any of you know who John Malden is. He has a fantastic newsletter, and he was pointing out how what the Fed had been doing, that they weren't reducing risk, that they were just pushing it further out into the future. They weren't eliminating or reducing. So it's just out there compounding. So when it hits, it's going to be probably pretty bad, but it just creates such a generational buying opportunity, as he said, that that could be the silver lining. So, hey, that's for long-term investors like us. We're all pretty young. I think that's fantastic.
And if I can just touch base with NVIDIA as well, it's sitting at about 219 right now. And year to date, Nvidia's bounced off the 213 to 219 range 3 or 4 different times and has gone back up. So,
Really?
with that being said, I'm hoping it does it again. So I'm gonna keep my eye out for that. If I do see it bounce on the technicals, I probably will add a position to that for my long term and my trade.
Okay, so I was going to ask you, you doing options on that then when you think it's going to bounce?
No, I
scalp
won't
it,
do
or-
options on that. I'll just do like a swing trade if I see it bounce, and I'll also add a couple more shares into my long-term portfolio account.
Let's hit Ryan here. Anybody got thoughts on Microsoft?
I do.
Go for it, man.
I'm interested to see them report, just because they're out of all the companies in America, they are the one that rely heaviest on Russia for revenue. So I'm interested to see what they're going to forecast, because we all know that it doesn't matter how great a company was in the past. Like, what are they going to tell us about their future? So I'm a little nervous for some companies to like you and I talked, Russ, last month. Adobe, they reported softness on the revenue because of they're not doing business in Russia anymore, and Adobe hardly relies on Russia at all, and their stock dropped 10%.
Oof.
So
Yeah.
what will Microsoft do if they report the same thing? I don't know. So I'm keeping my eye out for that one for sure.
Yeah, they're just so strong though. Like, I think we said it, or I told you, I think they might be the strongest company in the entire stock market. And, I think a lot of and see that, to me, that's one of the beauties of dividend stocks and strong companies, because if Microsoft is only going to fall so far, and the more that they fall, the higher that dividend yield goes, and just people are going to come in and start buying. And yeah, like that just speaks to a larger thing of that long-term investing, right? Buying businesses and not just buying those ticker symbols.
Yep. I'd like to see, last time I did a little calculation into Microsoft, I kind of got a fair value, maybe around under 230. So it still has some room to come down. But I do like seeing it under 300. I just looked and it's at 285 right now, which was actually lower than I thought it was going to be at. So I'm happy to see it moving south and hope it keeps doing so. I would love to add that to my portfolio, but not at this price.
Yeah, I have 2 little shares right out, just a touch over $200. Coming out of the pandemic, I wanted to start building a position in them, and that's just one of those where, man, you got to go with your conviction, because I think 202 might be my average on 2 shares. And the darn thing, again, just started going up. I'm like, all right, well, I'll wait for it to come down. It hasn't come down yet. So I'm still waiting.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so I got 2 little token shares just sitting there paying that minuscule dividend.
Hey, Russ, did you kind of change the subject? Sorry. Did you
change it?
Okay. What did you send us earlier about the consumer price index? What did you find out
That was
about
Joe.
that? Oh, that was Joe. I'm sorry, Joe.
Yeah.
What did you find out about that?
The White House is just expecting it to be the highest ever. And I think it was 8%, if I remember correctly.
Jeez.
For the CPI. That doesn't mean the market's it's not priced in, right? It could very well be priced in, but that makes me nervous. So there's 2 key things that are going to determine, I think, the next few weeks, and it's going to happen tomorrow and Wednesday. And the CPI report is tomorrow morning, and then JP Morgan Chase reports Wednesday. JP Morgan, whatever they say, is going to let us understand how the economy is looking. Like, is our Americans' household savings depleting? Is spending slowing down? And if that's the case, that's going to be a signal that a recession is more likely. And I think right now there's only like a 27% chance for a recession that could happen. But we all know that could be happening 18 months from now. I think it's anywhere from 9 months to 4 years. A recession can happen from the time that it inverts. So, yeah, the CPI definitely is a little scary if it's going to be the highest ever. And if it jumps, I think it's at like 8.4, 8.2%, something like that. That's pretty crazy if you think about it. So,
well,
Yeah.
I mean, we saw global food supply jump 13%. And that's or the inflation on global food prices. It's just, and obviously a lot of that has to do with with Russia. And I mean, there's going to be, I think, a big ripple effect out of this. It's going to take a while for things to, like the level on a bubble to reacclimate. But I know Russia is the number one exporter of wheat, and Ukraine is the number one exporter of, what was it? Some
Fertilizer?
kind of seed. Maybe it was fertilizer. Yeah.
One of those two. There's something going on with fertilizer in one of those two. I don't remember exactly which one.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm responding here. Here, we'll get a few of these. I'm building up. It's supposed to be an AMA, and we're just.
I was reading about that in this gardening blog that I follow.
Yeah, I know Mosaic.
Just messing around.
Mosaic Corporation was one of them, and yeah, there's going to be an issue with manure. Just a big ripple effect, and it's escaping my mind. What is that manure called? Somebody listening is going to know.
Scott's Miracle Grow, man. SMG.
Yeah.
SMG. It's down year to date. It's down 30%, and last year it's down over 50%. Nice little dividend stock too.
Yeah,
not too shabby.
That sounds like a Warren Buffett takeover.
Are we liking any high yield stocks? Jeremy is trying to increase his yield, maybe with CEFs.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't really been buying any, but I mean, Altria Group's always good. I just did a video on Altria Group, Main Street Capital Corporation. I really like EPD. It's a master limited partnership, so it can make the tax situation a little tricky, but great company, and it pays a nice dividend that's been growing it for I think they're a dividend aristocrat now, actually, or very close to it.
I think so.
Basically, they dropped really low down to like what, $12 or $14 in 2020, and
yeah,
that's what I got into it. I got into EPD then.
Do you still have some?
I have a lot of it. I've been trimming though. I started trimming last month, like March, like in the middle of March. I started trimming them, and then I started adding to other plays that I like better. Because I mean, the dividend's crazy good when I got into it, and it's still good now. I think it's like 7% or 7.10%,
7.10%.
That's
I
great.
just wanted to check that dividend.
And
23 years. 23 years. Sorry.
Great.
Go ahead.
No, you're good. And Tip Ranks, I think, projects it to grow like another 10% for the rest of the year, and I think it's already up 10 or 15% year to date, something like that. So I love EPD. And you're right, it is a little tricky when it comes to the partnership. So I have very little bit like in my IRA, and then I have most of it into a taxable brokerage account.
Okay, nice. Yeah, I have it in my taxable too. I would love to add, like I've kind of been chewing on a couple different REITs, like Vici. AMT is another one. I don't know if that one's really a high yielder. I don't know if really either of those two are, but
yeah, American Tower, AMT.
Yeah, I'd love to add another REIT or two, but not in the taxable.
So, Vici, do you know? I haven't looked into it, but I know they were going to be acquiring MGM Properties, ticker MGP, and I know that because I have like 5 shares of MGP. Fun story: when I was starting the channel, we were in Vegas, and I bought my first shares of MGP at the New York, and I had them take a little, picture of me when I was buying them. I was like, I now own this place. I'm your landlord. My wife's like, quiet. But yeah, so I think for those that don't know, MGM Grand, they ended up basically splitting off MGM Properties. It's a different company. So they are now the tenant on that property. And Caesars, I think it is, right, with Vici. I believe that Caesars did the same thing, that Vici is the landlord. They own the property, and Caesars Gaming is the tenant there. So I don't know what that means, but I just know it. That's something I remember.
The other day I was trying to look up who is like the utility service provider for all of the hotels on the Strip, but I couldn't figure it out. And I don't think they're publicly traded. But I thought that'd be a pretty good one.
Yeah. Do you guys watch Meet Kevin at all?
No. I used to watch him, but I kind of lost interest.
Sure. And I'm only bringing it up because you're talking about MGM. He was talking to one of his friends that's like a hedge fund manager. He owns a business, and his second largest position is MGM, and his first largest is Tesla. So he's very bullish on MGM this year.
Yeah, well, everything's reopening up, right? So they should
Yeah.
start. Amazon, didn't they buy MGM Studios? I think they bought MGM Studios because Amazon. See what this all
Is that
ties
like
into
a
what we
year
were
ago?
talking about. No, it's pretty. Here, I won't even look at it. I'm sure somebody listening knows. Yeah, but that just shows that. All right, let me spin through some of these quick. Microsoft yields way under 1%. Yeah, it's a dividend stock, but here I'll look up what it is. What do you guys? What's your guess? I think it's.
For
I don't know.
Microsoft's yield?
Yeah, do you know?
No, I'm gonna guess 0.94.
I'm
Close.
gonna guess it's higher than Nvidia's.
Probably it's 0.87. So it's a dividend yield. It's still a dividend stock. All right, here
The
we'll get
growth,
caught.
the growth really isn't anything astronomical either. Like it's sub 10%, right? The CAGR.
Here we go. Their last was 11% in September of 21, and then the 5-year CAGR is 9%, and the 10-year CAGR is 13%.
Okay, that's
So
pretty good.
Yeah, I could share this here. I'll just share this.
Snap-ons is still higher though, man.
Is it? I don't know.
Nvidia's higher.
Yeah, I think Snap-ons is closer to 15.
There you go.
So the 5-year CAGR.
There's the Microsoft growth. So it's been pretty quick and with right good reason. And I believe they have a dividend safety score of 99. So that dividend is not going anywhere. They can keep growing it for infinity, I think. Let's see. What do we got here? Shamir said his wrong one. I don't want to skip you, Shamir. His high yield stocks are BTI and Mo. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Time in the market, Cass says. Don't believe in timing it. Absolutely.
I just got some.
There it is. Oh, go ahead. Potash. That's Steve got me. That's what I was trying to think of. The fertilizer, potash.
Okay.
What do you got? What happened, Joe?
Nothing crazy. Just that we got breaking news that U.S. State Department orders all non-emergency government to leave Shanghai because COVID is surging high. So
all right. Well,
that's a little something. And then Philadelphia started today too. They went back to face masks in Philadelphia.
I knew I should have sold my Neo call today. Damn it! All the Chinese stocks are probably going to be down.
Well, Neo held up really well because in pre-market it was down like 8%. So
yeah, it was in the 17s. And then it was 17s and then back up around the 20s. Yeah. Best in a Roth IRA. Yeah. So I've talked about this with like MLPs and like EPD. If you have or you can, just to avoid the headache, is to hold them inside of a tax advantaged account. Mm-hmm. But do know that first dollar after $1,000 of the distribution income is taxable, and you have to jump through all the hoops. So I guess if you don't expect over $1,000 a year in income from MLPs, then perfect place to have them is inside of the tax advantaged accounts. Otherwise, keep them in your taxable, I guess. Not financial advice, right? We're just fun and entertainment here.
I'm doing my taxes tomorrow, so that should be fun.
My wife's doing them. So my wife. Yeah.
My wife.
I love that movie too. I love Borat. Let's see, rents. REITs. She meant REITs. Yeah, that's kind of like we were saying. I have them all except Simon Property Group. Here we go. Journeyman Portfolio. Have we considered Zim? Yeah, they're a shipping company. They're paying just a stupid dividend. You guys familiar with Zim?
Mm-hmm. So they had like an 80% dividend yield or something crazy like that, right?
It's 35% right now.
Okay, I don't know where I got 80, but I knew it was double digits. So
here, this is funny. I'll share it. They're pretty. So 35% yield, and check that growth out. Look at that. They paid $2.50 in December of 2021, then all the way up to $17. Wow.
But how can that be sustainable?
It's not. Because here, look at this. Their free cash flow per share was $2 in 2018, and now it's $4 $43 just because of the shipping rates that are just astronomical
Oh,
through the roof.
okay.
Yeah, and their earnings per share went from $4, almost $5 to almost 40. Yeah, sales grow. I mean, so this is not sustainable. This is going to come back down. So I guess if you were able to scalp
Yeah.
if you're able to scalp, then that but then you're playing a risky game. Here, let's see. There's some chatter looking at. All right, Jared's been looking at EPD, Cass. There you go, Ryan. And Snap on. So we're a couple
Good
Snap
move,
on
Cass. Good
holders.
move. Good
Yeah, China
move.
lockdown will continue to hurt Starbucks. That's one I bought last week. I bought a few more shares around 83 to 85. You guys own any Starbucks?
I don't. No.
You know I do, my man.
That was a
You
loaded
know
question.
I do. Oh boy. Don't get me
Yeah,
started on Starbucks. But you know what? Like, all joking aside, I think I'm okay if it hurts Starbucks right now in the short term. China seems to be a pretty big growth opportunity for Starbucks, right? And that's why it'll hurt it so much. But coming out of all this craziness, it should be good for Starbucks.
I don't think they have to worry about luck in coffee. So that's well, at least here in the U.S.
Yeah.
Here we go. I wanted to answer this from Bill. He said, "Are you saying that MLP income earned in an IRA is taxed after you make $1,000 in MLP dividends?" From the way I understand it and everything I've read, yes. So $1,000 is not, but that first dollar after 1,000, then that is taxable, even if it's in a tax advantaged account. Why that is, I don't know. But that should be enough to send you down the rabbit hole. Just Google it. Investopedia has a really great article on it. Do you guys ever check out Investopedia?
Oh yeah, man. I've
I'm
learned a lot
always
from
on
Investopedia.
Investopedia. Yeah.
Yeah.
What a
lot
fantastic site.
lot of great info there. Especially
I've
if you
learned
want
a
to look
ton.
up things like if you want to know what a PE ratio is or what discounted cash flow is, it's really good for things like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
So yeah, check that out. Shamir's got Starbucks at 80.
Yeah.
Yep.
Shamir's a big Starbucks guy too. We talk about that a lot.
Yeah. Ryan loves his. Who's
Journeyman.
Ryne? Ryne.
Yeah, that's me.
There you go. Okay. This is one from you, Ryan.
Okay.
Irresponsible. She
Yeah.
got Cass.
SWK. So Stanley Black, Russ, would you say Stanley Black and Decker is pretty comparable to Snap-on? Just in terms
I
of
honestly
industry?
I know that they're a dividend aristocrat or king, right? I know
They're a king. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I really haven't looked too much into them, but comparable, I would think so. I mean, I don't really use any of their tools. I have I know they're a coffee maker, no, right? Coffee makers. Don't they do coffee makers?
Yeah, they've got I don't remember the brand, but it's interesting. And when I was looking up all their brands, they had a lot of them that I didn't realize. A lot of different companies under their umbrella.
Yeah, I
think
didn't
I think more than Snap-on actually.
really.
Looks
Yeah,
like.
I know. I bought some of Snap-on way back. They're cheapy tools. They have like an off-brand Blue Point.
Yeah.
So I've had those. You know,
I like
but
one of the things I like about Snap-on is although they're primarily known for their, auto repair tools, they are in so many other different industries, from mining to
Yep.
to manufacturing to like wind and solar power equipment to even what's the other one? Like aerospace and defense. So like Lockheed Martin, all the stuff they make, they could use Snap-on tools for that. So I thought that was pretty
Right.
cool.
Right. Yeah, and all their diagnostics.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's just just a solid company, and it's crazy that I never really looked at them or
Mhm.
seriously looked at them. I know I've seen them come across before, but again, and I talked about it in one of my videos. I'm trying to get over seeing a sub 2% yield, and immediately I used to just write it off and be like, I don't even care how fast they're growing it. Just, I don't even want it. And I mean, that was stupid, and we're still learning and evolving, but now I'm trying to look at if they're that low, but what has the growth been? So I'm trying to focus on that growth. Cause if you're in it long enough and they have that, like, I don't know, 13% 10-year CAGR. Well, I mean, that's just going to keep compounding. And, yeah, I mean, you just have phenomenal yield on cost at that point. So yeah, You guys ever see Capital Mindset? I don't know
Yeah,
Capital Mindset. Yeah.
actually, coincidentally, I have that exact video sitting in my watch later right now. I've heard really good things about Capital Mindset's channel, but I haven't watched any of the videos. But I heard it's really good information,
Well,
so I'm excited to check it out.
congratulations. Yeah, thanks, Steve. You've got my
Yeah,
interest piked, and I'm gonna put it on my probably my drive to work.
yeah.
I drive around a lot, so I watch. I know. Okay, we'll say I listen to YouTube videos while I'm while I'm zipping around town.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Here we go. More praise for my guy.
Well, Cass, thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
Yeah. Um, I think I breezed through most of these. If
Yeah, I think
anybody's
we're all
got
caught
anything you
up.
want to say, I think I'm caught up. Thanks, Jeremy. You got Bill on that. Yeah, so that's I don't know. You'd need a hell of a lot of EPD. Now there you go. Anybody wants to do it? There's a video. How much EPD do you need to trigger a K1 or trigger tax inside of a taxable account? And people are like, what the hell? Stay legit. Who was too legit to quit? That was Hammer, right? I remember that. God, I'm gonna sound old now. You don't remember that, do you? Too legit to quit?
I know that Ryan probably doesn't. He's just a baby.
That's right. Yeah.
You know what, man? Wait, are you talking about MC Hammer?
Yeah.
Yeah, come on.
Too legit to quit.
Like,
That was he blew up big when I was in I think 7th or 8th grade. Huge.
mhm.
And then he spent all
He
his money.
he did not invest in dividend stocks, that's for sure. Yeah, he could use a little EPD in his portfolio right now.
Speaking of entourage, I think I remember reading that he was paying just dozens of people, like all his friends from where he grew up that were poor. He just spent all his money on them just to go on
Gosh,
tour with them and hang out. And he was paying people to hang out.
that's so
Yeah.
silly, man. That's so silly. And I feel bad for so many. I feel bad for him because that's such a waste. And man, he had a life-changing amount of money. He never had to worry about it again. And then you just blow it, not knowing how to invest it or how to use it.
Yeah, and that should just speak to the school system because all this stuff I'm learning, I wasn't taught any of it. It's crazy. I'm like,
Yeah.
every day, I'm like, why wasn't I taught any of this in school? We were taught how to balance a checkbook from like the football coach. You know,
Yeah.
It's because schools like they prepare workers. You know, they don't prepare entrepreneurs. That's my opinion on it.
Yep. Yeah.
But I do like how Florida just became the 11th state to require finance. You have to be able to have a prerequisite to graduate high school. You need to take a finance class. So that's super cool. Yeah, I like that.
Good,
They just did it like a week or two ago. And to answer your question, you really don't want to own more than 2,200 shares, I think, of EPD.
You got it. I
in your
love it.
taxable account.
I love it. Yeah. So if you got 2,200 shares, you should be okay. So chances are I'm not going to be having 2,200 shares of EPD. So, but good number to keep in mind. I might get to 100, start selling some calls on it. You know, Home Depot versus Lowe's from Shamir. Anybody want to touch on that?
I like them both short term. Yeah, I like them both short term.
You think there's going to be any pressure with rates rising and less houses coming on the market? And
we touched base on this our last show or last video.
Yeah.
That my opinion is those are one of the first type of stocks that will get hit with rising rates and possible recession fears coming. So that's my opinion. But we're in the spring season, right, guys? So I think it's going to be as long as the market stays stable, those stocks will have a nice uptrend.
Well, like you said, a few moments ago too, about a recession, it could be, what did you say, anywhere from 9 months to 4 years after the invert, right? So
exactly. That's why I just said fears, the fear of recession. Like a recession does not need to happen for, if there's fear out there that it could possibly happen, like the market's going to feel the fear and people are going to sell for no reason at all. It's an emotional market. It doesn't mean that something needs to take place. It's just the possibility of what it could take place,
Right.
So,
and You bring up a great point, what you're talking about, and that's right. Why the stock market is, how do they say it? The stock market is disconnected from, businesses, from the
Yeah.
market, I guess.
Mhm.
Yeah, because people get irrational and fearful, and they just start selling McDonald's and Starbucks and Johnson and Johnson, and the companies like. So put it that way: if people are freaking out and just dumping everything, and McDonald's drops by 15%, I don't think that means that their business is now 15% more or less valuable. It's just the stock is 15% less valuable just because of where people are selling. So
And you know what? To that, oh, go ahead, Joe. I'm sorry, man.
Oh yeah, I'll be quick. You can argue that McDonald's will see maybe an uptrend of business because a family might not be able to afford to go out to Red Lobster, Chili's, or Applebee's, or whatever it may be. They might decide to go to a Five Guys or McDonald's or something like that instead because it's more affordable. So that's all I was going to say.
Yeah, what I was going to say, I mean, Russ, to your point, that's why I think it's so important what we're doing here on YouTube. That's why I think YouTube can be such a great resource because, hopefully we're trying to tell people how to invest responsibly and how to not make those emotional decisions. Because in reality, in those times where people, might want to sell, you might want to sell Procter and Gamble or Johnson and Johnson or McDonald's. Like think about when the COVID stuff started, right? So many people sold off, but really those great companies, man, you should have been doubling down, buying and swooping up as many shares as you can. And I don't know. If you didn't learn that in 2020, what's it going to take, man? What's going to take?
And I think a lot of it is people going through it too. So for me, I came through it beautifully, and I've told this story before that people at my work were, because they knew that I was in stocks and things. They're like, "Hey, did you get out? Did you sell? Are you freaking?" I was like, "No, I'm freaking out because I don't have any more money to buy." And they're like, "What do you mean you're buying?" I'm like, "Well, I don't remember where I read it, but they said whether it's the market or a company, if there's any kind of volatility or storm clouds, if you can envision a scenario where that's going to end and it's going to get better, kind of like 3M. So for me, with 3M that's going through these 2 lawsuits, yeah, there's short-term volatility, but I don't think it's going to ruin the company. I think they're still a strong company, and eventually, yeah, they may have to pay out a lot of money, but they're going to recover. I mean, even if it takes 5 years, just say, to recover, at some point they're going to recover. So I think that's something. I wish I remember where I read that from, but yeah, if you can just imagine the storm clouds ending and lifting and the sun coming down, then it's a great time to buy.
And that's why I like dividend stock investing, because just like the stock market price is kind of separate from the business, or it's attached from the actual business. The same is true with stock price movements and dividends. Even if no matter what a stock price is doing, going up or down, you're still going to be getting the same amount in dividends, assuming that they don't cut it. And I think that's something that a lot of people miss, especially a lot of newer investors. A lot of people think of stocks in the stock market as just buying these kind of arbitrary things that go up and down in share price. And you can't explain it. You just know that it happens every single day. It's going to do what it's going to do. But there's this whole other dimension that people don't even realize that is, number one, can be such a life-changing thing, in my opinion, but also number two, can be such a fun, exciting thing, and also a very easy thing to do. Anyone can do this, which is the beautiful thing about investing in stocks, especially in this day and age.
I 100% agree with you. And that's the reason why so many people lose money, because that's such a low entry point, right? Anyone
that's true.
can throw money into it. And the reason why people get so emotional when it comes to their stocks going down is because they might be overinvested. They might have money in there that they need for their mortgage or their rent or their car payment in 2 to 4 weeks. So they panic sell because they don't want to lose any more money. Where I always tell my friends that panic in those moments, guys, in my eyes, it's always a bull market. If it's a green day, we're making money, and if it's a red day, I'm stoked, because the stocks that I love are inherently less risky the lower they go down. So I'm able to buy even more shares than what I would be able to in a bull market. So my future self, I'm super stoked for my future self because of those days. So In all honesty, I wish the stock market would stay stagnant for like 3 to 5 years from right now, because it's just going to explode after that. So
Yeah, that's a really great point, Joe. That's a really great point. And some stocks are staying pretty stagnant. Like if you look at a stock like Intel, or even if you look at AT&T or Verizon, a lot of these
Amazon,
stocks, Amazon, yeah, a lot of these stocks haven't moved hardly at all in share price, right? In AT&T's case, it's gone down, but
yeah.
it's creating these buying opportunities, and you have a lot of time to take advantage of it. And in some of these cases, hopefully this will be true with AT&T and Intel and Amazon for sure. Hopefully someday we will see them, just take off again. I'd love to. I'd love to get back in the green with
Well,
AT&T.
if I can explain, like Tesla, they stayed stagnant for so long, right? The longer a stock stays stagnant, the more likely, if it's a good fundamental company, the more likely it's going to blast off. And that's exactly what Tesla did. And that's what I'm expecting Amazon to do. I would not be surprised if it's a decent year this year. I wouldn't be surprised if Amazon grows 30 to 40% by the end of the year, because it's been stagnant for 24 months.
So why is that? Why is that the case?
It's just growing resistance. And it can break. When it breaks, it can break up or down. But again, if it has a good fundamental company and their debt's low, or if they can compensate for their debt in any way, that's going to blast off. However, if it's a iffy company, I'm trying to think of an iffy company that's been stagnant for so long. When I say stagnant, I mean within like 15%, like for a long period of time. I'm not coming up with a company off the top of my head, but it's just it creates a floor, and that's super healthy, especially for someone that believes in a company that they can buy for a longer period of time. And I don't know if I can't remember if I talked to Russ about this or if I made a video about this last week. But I almost stopped believing in Tesla. It was literally about 6 months away. I started questioning myself, because I invested in Tesla for so long, for years, and it stayed stagnant. And I'm like, maybe I got it wrong. Like maybe I'm wrong about this one. And sure enough, within 6 months of me questioning myself, it took off. Thank God, because I was super close to actually trimming my positions and cutting my losses essentially, and putting money to work somewhere else. So, I'm hoping that's what Amazon does, because I've been adding to Amazon like crazy over the last couple of years.
Don't forget they got the split coming up too. So
They do.
they're buying back shares, and they have that split. And I think I'm probably going to do it. I don't own any full shares of Amazon, so I mean, right? This is where we really see people's wealth just compound astronomically when splits happen, and then they just keep those shares, and then when those split down the line. But yeah, I think it's going to be somewhere around what, like 150, 130 something a share after the split for Amazon.
Or what are they doing? What split are they doing?
20 for 1.
20 to 1.
1 for 1. Okay.
Yeah.
Then it'd be about $100 then, because it's 3,000 today, I think, right around 3,000.
Yeah, divided by 20. I'm terrible at math, but I did the math before at some other point.
Another fun stock that decided to split, and I had this in my 3 stocks to buy this month, is Shopify. They announced today that they're going to be splitting as well.
They're splitting too.
That could be really interesting, for sure.
Let me get Bill's question here real quick. BGS and SKT, which is Tangier's outlet, they did raise their dividend, I think 9%. I read that earlier. B&G Foods, I don't know if you guys know, I invested in them a while ago. They just have a really, really high payout ratio. So I don't like them. They are like secondary foods, I guess. I don't know how to say it. Not like discount foods, but they're just shelf stable foods is what they're in. I know they sold, like, I think they have Jolly Green Giant and Cream of Wheat, things like that. But they just have a lot of debt, and I wouldn't invest in them personally. And then Tangiers, I don't really know much about. I know one of my guys, one of my European friends had invested in Tangiers, and he sold out.
European DGI?
No, Engineer My Freedom. That's who it was.
Oh.
EMF. Yeah.
EMF.
So, yeah, he sold
Welcome
out.
to the Dividend Talk podcast.
I wish I could do his accent. I'm terrible with the Irish accent.
I love listening to those guys, man. They have such a great podcast.
I know. Yeah, so he has a story about Tangiers.
You were on it for an episode, weren't you?
I did. I made an appearance on their
Yeah.
podcast early on. It was the first time I did anything like that, like a podcast, and I was pretty nervous too because like the time change. So I got up early. It was like 8 o'clock in the morning here, and it was for them, I think like 3 o'clock in the afternoon, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, like something crazy. So I'm like rubbing the sleep out of my eyes, and they're getting hungry for dinner. Yeah, it was just I don't know, it's a little intimidating, I guess, because I never did this. It was so new to me, and what we're doing, the three of us, for those of you that watch, it's starting to feel like second nature for me now. But and I should do a reaction video on my first video, but I know it was terrible.
I mean, you know
it
what,
was
man?
awful.
Don't beat yourself up. Your first time is always intimidating, you know.
Well, yeah, let's not.
Are we still talking
First-
about?
Yeah, I'm
YouTube.
just messing around, man.
Yes, we're talking about YouTube, 100%. All right, let me see. Oh my God. So we're blabbering, and I'm going to pick out here something quick. There we go. Shamir, he started a position in 3M. I think that's cool.
So
I might
someone
buy more
asked,
3M with my AT&T. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
yeah, someone asked about airlines a couple minutes
I-
ago.
I can talk about that.
How about airlines? Cass asked, how about airlines?
Yeah.
So, what was that? Was that the only question he asked? Is that how basic it was?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know if it was specific at all. So I actually like airlines right now. Delta is at a really good entry point. I historically trade Save, which is Spirit Airlines, like crazy, because they're it's not a good airline to fly with, right? But if you look at the TA and the charts, it's so easy to trade. And then JetBlue just came out last week saying they want to put a bid on it to buy them, and it spiked up 25%. So I got out of Spirit Airlines because I had a decent chunk in there for trading, and then when it jumps 25% in the matter of a minute, take full advantage of that. But I do like airlines a lot right now. I'm expecting a big travel year for the world, right? In general, and Delta Airlines is international. I can't tell you guys how. So I went to Europe last September and October for 6 weeks, and it was so complicated to travel. They made it so hard. They pretty much didn't want you to be there, so they made it impossible. So now that the gates are opened up, I know a ton of people that are traveling overseas this year because of that. So I'm bullish on airlines for the summer, even with rising costs in oil, because you guys know my opinion with oil. I think it should settle down, and here's another reason why I think oil will calm down a little bit, because Russia announced that they're going to claim May 9th as their victory day. So they're claiming victory May 9th. So does that mean that they're going to go full ham and try to take over whatever they want to do between now and May 9th? And will it be finished May 9th? I don't know. But that seems to me like we're more towards the end than the beginning of the war. And if that happens, guys, oil is going to drop 20% pretty easily. So
Do you think it's just going to drop back to below it or back to where it was? Well, I mean, what was it before all this started? It was right around 90, right? Upper 80s, something like
Barrels,
that.
you're
90
saying?
bucks. Yeah, barrel oil before the whole Ukraine.
honestly, I
conflict?
don't know what it was per barrel.
I can
look
it's
up
probably-
USO.
Yeah, I think it might
Um,
just drop back to about that. Here, while
And
you're
right now,
looking that up. Oh, I'm
It's
sorry.
like
Go ahead.
It's like $1. What is it? It says Brent's only $100 right now. Does that sound right?
It might. I mean, I could if you're. I'll
I thought it was higher. I thought it was like 113, but maybe that was a couple days ago.
Days are running together, Joe. Let
What's
me
that?
see here. I said the days are running
the days are-
together. So here, I'll just share this if anybody's interested. What the hell? We have the technology and the kid has the know-how. Oh, and look at I'm pumping myself up and I'm figuring out how. Here we go.
And, well,
There we go. Big and nice and big. So yeah, Brent's what, 99 bucks. This is the future, the futures, I guess. Commodities, 99 bucks, and crude's 95. So yeah, we're under $100.
so,
So-
and you guys also know, I mentioned the last time we talked, that I was shorting USO, and anything I started shorting at above $80. So right now I'm double digits positive since oil peaked with USO. Because currently it's in at $72 and change, and it's about 13 or 14% off its highs
Okay.
of March 23rd.
Shorting, man, that gives me selling puts is the best I can do. That's what I can stomach, you know.
Yeah, I'm short enough, man.
Come on, how short are you?
I'm like 5'8".
Oh, you don't know how well, I'd say short. What are you, Joe?
I think you're tall, Russ. I think you're a Laker.
I'm gonna guess Russ's height. I'm gonna guess 6'2".
Yeah,
almost
something over 6 foot for sure.
6'4".
6'4".
Oh, yeah.
Can you
you'd
give me
be
a couple inches?
I need a few pounds. That's been my problem in life. I can't, you know.
We'll trade.
When I was a kid, man, I just I see it on my one daughter. She just like reminds me of me. But my grandma always said, "Don't worry, when you get older, you're gonna like it." So I guess, yeah, I'm like 6'4", 185 on a good day.
Oh,
so
you're trimming.
Yeah, you know, but I don't watch calories. I eat. Just doesn't stick. Hold on, there was one question I wanted to get to.
Journeyman asked us about
Warner Brothers. We talked about at the beginning, so I guess you could go back. We're pretty much both gonna sell out of it. I think
the legendary consensus. Journeyman.
Yeah.
Man.
All right, a few more minutes here. See what I get. Oh, there it was. Thanks for the insight on the airlines. There you go. Props from Cass.
If I can also speak on one of the travel things, I do like CCL at this current level.
Carnival, right?
Yep, Carnival. I like them at this. If you look at the charts, it's actually a really, really sexy entry point for CCL. So
yeah, I haven't looked. They used to pay a dividend. They used to be.
Did they?
Obviously. Okay. Oh yeah, but obviously when you have to shut your whole company down, it's hard to. Kind of like Six Flags. Of course, my kids, this was a learning lesson for us. So they like Six Flags. We go to Six Flags. And I was like, yeah, they're a good dividend come. They pay a dividend. So we bought them. And then like a year later, COVID shut everything down. They cut the dividend. I'm like, well, you're not getting a dividend anymore. That's the way it goes, baby. Easy come. But yeah, anyway, so we'll see if they start paying again. Same thing with Carnival and some of the other ones that cut. Interesting. Do you guys have any thoughts on Disney still not paying a dividend yet?
I don't think they should pay a dividend. I like that, and we have different mindsets. You guys are big in dividends. I'm not as big as you guys. I like that they put more money back into their company because they're trying to grow. They're streaming. They're trying to get their the parks back into business and ramped up. So I think they should hold off for at least 1 to 2 years and build up their balance sheet a lot more until they can start paying back a dividend. That's my opinion, though.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Yeah, absolutely.
We'll see. That's another one. My kid, Jesus. So my kids have Disney and Six Flags that cut the dividend. So
my girlfriend has Disney too. She kind of dabbles in stocks. She'll put in like $25 a week into Robinhood, and she's got VTI, nice. Starbucks, Apple, Disney, Coca-Cola, and then actually Dutch Bros.
Oh, Bros! I like their they're God, I missed them a few times. Not too long ago, they dipped down to back in the 40s, like mid 40s. I think below their IPO price. I think maybe.
Was it?
I don't know.
So
I could be hallucinating.
The only dividend stock that I own that cut was Wynn Resorts. The only one that I owned at the time that cut. Yeah.
Wynn, they don't still pay a dividend. I don't think they started it up, but they did sell. They did sell their Boston property to Realty Income. Okay. And then they've leased right back from Realty Income. So that was a fun video I did. I learned all about that. I didn't know that was a thing. Did you?
I know companies did that. I didn't know it was a common thing though.
Yeah. So basically Wynn wanted to sell their Boston casino, and they sold it to Realty Income and then signed, I think it was like a maybe a 10 or a 20-year lease. Maybe I think it was a 10-year lease, something like that. And then they just signed like a 10-year lease, and I was like, wow.
I think that's generally like when they sign wherever they're at in China, they sign a lease with them as well every like 10 or so years. And it's coming up. I think it was this year they have to renew their lease in China. So I hope to God they are able to renew that, because that's their biggest revenue maker is in China.
I didn't know that. Yeah, I know a lot of them have places in Macau. Like that's a big money maker
Macau,
for
yeah.
the casinos. Is that considered China? I honestly don't even know.
Macau sounds familiar to me. So if that's what the name is, then that has to be in China. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
We'll wrap it up with Shamir. He's not a huge fan of Disney. We all got stuff to do.
It's all right, Shamir. We still got Starbucks, man. That's good enough for us.
Yeah. Not a big fan of Disney. That's all right. They'll come back. They'll come roaring back someday. But all right, guys. Well, this was fun. We got through a lot, answered some questions, hung out.
It's Macau. I just looked it up. Yeah.
Yep. So is it part of China? Now I gotta know. Inquiring minds need to know.
Yeah, it's part of China. It's a luxury hotel and casino and the resort in Macau special in China. Republic of China. So I think that's the same thing, right?
I don't know.
It says Republic of China. I'm assuming that's got to be China.
I would assume so. They say they own Taiwan too, or they've laid claim to it, but they haven't.
That could be another tricky thing for the stock market coming up.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll leave it there. That's time, guys. So
yeah, good stuff, guys. Thank you everyone for tuning in with us too.
So everybody subscribe to these guys. There we go. I did it. Yeah, and we'll do it again sometime too.
Yeah,
about it.
It's good.
Right.
Maybe we'll go. Maybe next time we'll go to Disneyland and do it.
Oh,
do it at Disney.
Guys, I'm planning on going down to Florida because I want to see Tom Brady play at Tampa this year, just in case this is his last year. So I mean that's an hour away from
interesting.
Disney. But you're in California, so
yeah. I was just last week when I was down at the beach. I was down like 20 minutes from Disneyland.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So maybe we have to go to California then.
I'm up, man. I miss it. All right, let's everybody go. We'll talk to you later. Bye.
All right.